Hey guys, Bella from Coldwell Banker Pinnacle Properties in Florence, Alabama. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 13 ways that you can get listings. I have been a licensed real estate agent and realtor since August 7th, 2018, so about 6 months, and I have currently closed 2 deals, and I have 7 of my own listings, and I have 2 that are pending right now. So that's a little bit about me and what I've done in the last 6 months or so. A lot of people have done a lot better in their first 6 months, but a lot of people have done a lot worse. And we know that the average realtor really only closes 5 or 6 deals a year, so I still feel like I'm doing pretty well considering that I am very, very, very new to the business. So if you're like me and you're new to the business, then you're probably wondering, how do you get leads and how do you get listings? So far I have only worked as a listing agent. I've worked with a handful of buyers, but none of the buyers turned out to be super serious. And I have a few that I work with now who may buy in 2019, but so far I haven't really made a living working with buyers. I've made a living working with sellers. So these 13 ways are just some tips that I can give you as how I search for my leads. Now, I'm going to say that your mileage may vary depending on what kind of market you're in, but I'll go through each one of these and try to give you a little bit of info. Number one is cold calling, FSBOs, and expireds. So for sale by owners can be tricky, but the first thing that I try to do is to build a relationship and just have a conversation with them. I don't try to list them over the phone, and I do not try to, list them the first time I talk to them. The first conversation really needs to be a little bit about the house and how long they've been trying to sell it, and have they had a lot of people coming to see it? Are they willing to work with a realtor? Are they able to do a one-time showing? Things like that to kind of gauge how they are and how they feel about realtors. And then there's also expired. So expireds are people who have told you that they want to sell their house because it's previously been on the market with another realtor and it didn't sell for whatever reason. Now, sometimes it doesn't sell because the pictures are crappy, sometimes the price is not right, and sometimes it takes a house being on the market for half a year or even a full year for people to understand how much the house is actually going to sell for and going to be worth. So you may have to learn the hard way with some people that the listing expires and then another agent gets it and finally gets into the person's head how much money this house is worth. So calling FSBOs and expireds is your number one way to get listings fast, because these are people who have already said, I have a house that I want to sell. There's no guessing games involved. So the second way to get listings is to host open houses. This is a good way to get your signs all over the place, and it's also a good way to show up in a neighborhood and make a presence. If you could do an open house around your own neighborhood or an area that you know very well, that would be good. A big thing that you can do before an open house is to door knock the neighborhood and let the neighbors know that you're going to be doing an open house either that weekend or whatever. I use it as a chance to let everyone know that they're invited personally to my open house, and if they have anybody that they know that they want to move into their neighborhood, that I would love for them to come. Okay, so number 3, handwritten notes. I actually had one of my clients tell me that the reason that they called me back is because of the handwritten note. They said that a lot of people had been calling them and that they just thought my note excuse me, was sincere, and they called me back out of all the other people who called them. This was an expired listing, and I just sent a little note that said, hey, sorry it didn't work out with your other agent, but I think that if you gave me a chance that I could probably get this house sold. And I also included like a net sheet, maybe a data sheet, and a list of a little bit about me. I try not to overwhelm people, but I also try to give them some relevant information, especially with those expireds, because they already have a bad taste in their mouth from it not going well the first time around with a realtor. Anyways, number 4, this is one of the most important things I'm going to say in this video. Qualify your leads and only chase the strong ones. This is something that I had to learn the hard way because I was letting certain people take up 30 minutes of my time just going on and on the phone. One thing, I hate to say it, but older people who you call during the day don't have anything to do, so they will talk your ear off. Sometimes that can be good, especially if you're trying to get information about a neighborhood. I've called a lot of people and they've told me so much about the area they live in, the neighbors, who's selling, who's planning on moving, and it's been, you can make something good out of it, but please be careful not to waste a lot of time. And also, what I qualify as a strong lead is somebody who needs to sell their house in the next 3 to 6 months. And we can go on down the road if it's maybe in the next year they want to sell. I don't spend as much time nurturing that person. um, when I qualify a lead, I try to make sure that they are in the mindset to move or to sell, and that they have a reason to. Like, for example, if say they already have sold, or they have already bought another house and they have another house that's vacant and just sitting empty, and they're making two house payments, two utility bill payments, two tax payments. This is a person who is going to have the motivation, and this would be like a qualified lead. Okay, so number 5, another place to get some listings would be Facebook Marketplace. I actually got my last listing off Facebook Marketplace, and that actually sold in less than, let's see, 5 days. So Facebook Marketplace is a place where people start out putting feelers out for their house, and a lot of times they may be planning on hiring an agent and they just haven't necessarily reached out to anyone. So if you can get to people first on Facebook Marketplace, it's a good way to get listings. But you also can't come off too strong as a know-it-all and a realtor, because people really, really don't like that. The second that you seem like combative, or that you seem like you're trying to tell someone how to sell their house, is when you really just lose them altogether. So when dealing with the Facebook Marketplace people and the Craigslist people as well, I just try to come from a place of understanding and empathy and trying to get them to their goal. Whether or not I sell their house or not, I want their house to sell genuinely, and I think that's what makes like all the difference. Okay, number 6 is ask to go on preview appointments for sale by owners and people who are kind of unsure when you cold call. What I mean by that is, if you're cold calling a random neighborhood, say you pick 50 phone numbers around an area of a house that just sold, and you get someone who says, yeah, well, we thought about selling our house, but we're just not sure, we're not ready. One thing that you might be able to do is say, well, do you mind if I just come out and preview the house? That way I know about it in case I have anyone who's interested. And you don't have to list it, and you don't have to put it on the market or anything, but at least then I'll know about it. So what you've just done there is, this person is going to have a relationship with you before any other realtor gets to them. A big part of real estate is being first. It's kind of crazy how people don't interview multiple real estate agents. Usually they'll just go with the first person or the person they know. So that's another reason why building your sphere of influence is so, so important, and keeping in touch with those people, because when people are buying a house, they want to work with someone that they know, like, and trust. I mean, those are the big 3, and those are the ones that you'll hear all the real estate gurus preach about. But anyways, if you can build a relationship with these for sale by owners and these unsure people, you'll be the one that they consider if they list. I'm not saying that you're going to get to list it, but you're definitely going to have a better shot if you've already met them and you've already been to their property. So that's just something to keep in mind. Number 7, attend networking events without realtors. I cannot stress that part enough. If you go to the monthly realtor meeting for 12 months a year, that is 12 days out of the year that you could have gone to another meeting or something else, like a dinner or a sponsored event, or a fundraiser event, or even just something like at your gym or your local community center, your library. There are places to go to network and socialize that are not filled with realtors. Realtors are great people. They're really fun and they understand what you're going through, but at the same time, they are not the ones who are going to buy a house from you. Now, am I saying don't network with realtors? No, not at all. You need to have a good relationship with other realtors if you want to make deals, especially in an area that is like mine and it's an extremely like small town. However, don't spend a lot of time with all of this because it's just going to be a waste of time for the most part. I think that you can spend your time better getting out into your community, volunteering, being seen, and doing things of that nature, going to meetups, and maybe look at meetup.com and see about joining like an organization or something of that nature. Okay, number 8 is to give market updates and home value estimates to your sphere of influence. So you got to kind of go about this strategically. But if you are chatting with someone that you know and talking about their home, you might say, "Yeah, you know that your neighborhood's gone up, 12% since you actually moved here 5 years ago. Would you be interested in knowing what your house is worth now?" And so that can just be a good way to touch base with them and to give them a little bit of value. Number 9, also very, very important, talk about what you do. Whenever I am anywhere, I try to bring up real estate, not in like a pyramid scheme, like one of those crazy people who's trying to sell you oils or wraps or shakes. But for instance, if I am shopping and I'm buying clothes, I may bring up like, oh yeah, I'm looking at this outfit for work. I don't say anything else. Most of the time, if you just say for work, most people will say, what do you do? And typically I will say, I help people buy and sell real estate. That I leave it at that, and from there it usually starts a conversation because what you've got to understand about real estate is that everybody is interested in it. They're either interested in starting doing flips, they've watched the shows on HGTV, they've got an investment property in mind for their retirement plan. Everybody likes to talk about real estate. So if you just talk about what you do from time to time and remind people, you really, really shouldn't have a problem starting those conversations and building your sphere of influence. Number 10 is to target pre-foreclosures. You can get lists of these online pretty easily. Gonna say that you're probably gonna upset a few people and you're probably gonna get cussed out a bit on this one, but you also have the potential to actually keep somebody from getting foreclosed on if you can do a short sale for them and keep that foreclosure off of their credit. So, your mileage may vary on that one. Number 11, this is something that I haven't tried yet personally, but I plan to try in 2019, and that is to target absentee owners. This is people who do not live in their current property. They may have multiple investment properties, they may have moved to another state, or they're just got remarried and now they live with their spouse. There are all kinds of reasons that people still own a house that they don't live in. So targeting absentee owners is a great way. You can buy absentee owner lists and you can actually find out that data too from some different sources online. One place to check would be maybe Fiverr for some lists of that nature, or Upwork, and there's a lot of lists that you can purchase online. I'm all for buying leads if the leads are the right kind of leads. Now, I'm not going to be buying Zillow leads because I can't afford to live to live that life. Anyways, number 12 is Craigslist. Craigslist is great because most of the people who post on Craigslist are like the people who post on Facebook. They are just putting out feelers. They have not gone into super analyze mode yet. They are just seeing if there's any interest. The number 13, geo leads, prospecting in neighborhood, just sold, just listed. If you have RedX or some similar, you can pick a house and then it will give you all the phone numbers of the 25 to 50 surrounding houses. And so if you have a house that you just sold, you can call around that neighborhood and say, hey, this is so-and-so from Coldwell Banker. We just sold a home in your neighborhood. It sold in less than 5 days. Have you been thinking about selling your house? If so, we would love to help you. If not, okay, cool. Well, that's good that your neighborhood value is so high. Just wanted to let you know. Thanks. Have a great day. That's it. You don't have to stress out about it. The biggest thing about real estate is you've got to get on the phone. When I wasn't making cold calls, I was not making money. I was not getting listings. The minute that I devoted time to cold calling is when I started getting listings. You can make a living doing a lot of different things in real estate, but the biggest thing is if you have listings, you'll get more business because other people will see your signs that want to look at your listings. They may not necessarily want to buy that house, but they call you to look at that one, and then you show them some more and you sell them the house that they wind up buying. So anyways, sorry I talk so fast, but I had to get through all 13 of these. And this is 13 ways to get listings. And again, I'm Bella. I work for Coldwell Banker Pinnacle Properties in Florence, Alabama. If you need me, I can be reached at 256-335-7529. Thank you so much.